whistle. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
Welcome to the Morning Skate.
Episode 267, Morning Skate. Your host, Ked here, Energy. You feel that? I'm joined by my co-host, Brownie. Can you believe I have this much energy after watching the Rangers just shit the bed tonight?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they shit the bed so much as the Bruins held them down and squeezed the shit out of them.
They got outplayed. I wouldn't say they squeezed the shit out of them. The
Well,
first
if you're gonna say the Rangers shit the bed, you're implying that the Bruins had nothing to do with it.
No, I'm not
making
saying
it
that at
sound
all.
like the Rangers'
No.
fault.
Now you're putting words in my mouth.
I'm just saying
They outplayed the Rangers tonight for sure.
Yeah.
And I tried convincing myself that the Rangers didn't play that bad, but if they're getting outplayed, they played bad. So you need to expect more out of them. You want to just kind of talk about the game quick before we even
Sure.
introduce anything? So
Sure, I made some notes on my phone.
yeah, so the Rangers, they ended up losing, was it 4 or 5-2? 5-2?
5-2 if the empty netter. Yeah.
It was if you're a Rangers fan, the first period was not good. The second period was a bounce back. And then so I would give the Bruins the first, the Rangers the second, and then the third period was really the period that was going to decide the game. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yep.
Yeah.
If it was like a boxing match, it would be like, like a 10-9 or 10-8 the first round. Second round was like 10-9 the other way. Because I feel like the second round was close. The second period was closer.
The second period was closer than the first period, but the Rangers won the second period.
Yes. Yeah.
And then, there were a couple things that happened. Lindgren threw his body twice big at Pastrnak. He hit Bergeron with one. Dude, he only played fucking 3 shifts, and he had 3 giant hits.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Boston Bruins, they preach just be a fucking rat hockey player. Cheap shot Lindgren skating up the ice, Pastrnak. He gets fucking suspended for it. You're not going to hear anything about it because he's a star of the league. Just classic Bruins. That was a moment.
That's pretty soft when your rough and tough defenseman gets knocked out of the game by Pasta.
So that's actually a concern of mine because Ryan Lindgren's probably the toughest human that I know. I don't know him, but I know him.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't return is that's giving me
put that 15 pounds of muscle on in the offseason.
I mean, this guy, he battles back from everything. So the fact that he couldn't come back, I don't know if I like that. Pastrnak scored the first goal.
Look for your tough guy defense when Trouba couldn't contain Charlie Coyle on the blue paint.
Well, we'll get to that.
I'm just saying, while we're talking about your defense.
We will get to this. So then that was in the first period. Pastrnak, sick backhander from an impossible angle.
It had like a puck swift to fit in over his shoulder.
Yeah, that was one that I would remember if I scored that. Second period comes around. Also in that first period, the Pastrnak goal, Jimmy Vesey back checks his nuts off, goes to fucking hit him, and just bounces off him. So hit the fucking weight room, Vesey. We're going to get into that a little bit later.
Vesey scored, though.
He ended up bouncing back. He ended up scoring. We got a huge hit from Braden Schneider. I think it was on Trent Frederick. AJ Greer came in to stick up for him. Barclay Gaudreau came to stick up for him. And, that's why you put the Rangers and Bruins on ESPN, right? That was sick. That was fucking cool. I feel like both sides thought that was, a really cool thing to happen.
Yeah. But who laid the hit on Frederick? The defenseman? What's his name?
Braden Schneider, yeah.
Schneider. But you have to – I understand him fighting because AJ Greer wanted it, but he put them in a tough spot because they're already down a defenseman, and then he got a 10 – didn't he get a 10-minute?
No, he didn't. Greer
he just got 5? Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, fucking monster hit. And then third period comes around, and it was just – it was actually kind of sick. Bruins scored early. And then the Rangers seemed to respond right away. Adam Fox, I mean, what a fucking goal that was.
Like I said, that was the one Allmark wanted back, I bet.
And then the third goal happened, and then you were hoping that the Rangers were going to, put on some pressure, and then, the Bruins chipped away. You mentioned the goal Charlie Coyle had with Trouba. Listen, man, Trouba had a great year last year. I don't think anybody can argue that. He was deserving of his contract. Buried everybody. He was the spark that the Rangers needed when they were slow, whatever. But having said that, he still had some deficiencies. His skating isn't all that great. and he makes a couple bonehead moves in the D zone. I mean, this play right here, he has a C on his jersey. I'm not going to be too hard on him.
No, I like Trouba. I was just
I like him too, but that play wouldn't happen if like that was Chara back when he was the captain of the Bruins. Like, you know what I mean?
Charlie Coyle is a big fucking dude. I mean, he's like 6'4". He's a possession beast, and it's not easy to move a guy like that off.
It's unacceptable in my opinion. That can't happen. You're the captain. You're the captain of the New York Rangers. You can't that can't happen to you. Like you're supposed to be better.
The best third line center in the National Hockey League.
It was just I don't know. So that happened. I forget who else scored. It kind of seemed to unravel there.
DeBrus, that was a sick play. Hall to Zaka across DeBrus for the one-timer.
It was a really cool play. Actually, what I wanted to mention, players that stood out for me, I thought Nick Foligno looked fucking excellent.
He looks lean, like I told you. Remember I was telling you? He looks lean and fast. He had a couple of toe drags.
Yeah, if he can continue to chip that way. I thought Panarin looked really good. Lafreniere Capo had a fucking sick move. He was just too in tight afterwards.
I do like Lafreniere a couple of times. He was after behind the play, he was doing some chopping and getting in people's faces. And I was like, like I told you, I think he's going to be your next Callahan. Another
nationally televised game where Chris Kreider just fucking disappears. Did you even know he played tonight?
Yeah, because
the 2-on-1 at the end of the game when they needed a goal. And
and listen, as much as I get on Zibanejad, that pass, holy smokes, that was pretty.
It was just, I just feel like.
What if Ray Ferraro goes, that's a butterfly with wings? I'm like, don't all butterflies have wings?
Yeah, I don't know. Sammy Blais was hitting everything. I didn't really notice Reeves that much. The one thing I took away from this,
because he spends too much time trying for the big hit and he becomes a liability. There's a reason, and listen, I'm all Reeves' side with the Evander Kane stuff, but there's a reason that Kane was like, you want to really punish him, make him pay 20 minutes a game. He can be a liability out there when he's running around a little bit, you know.
I think the one thing that stuck out for me as a Rangers fan, when they lost Ryan Lindgren, it has become abundantly clear that they need an NHL caliber 6 defenseman because they don't have one. I thought Jones was exposed tonight. Every time that kid was on the ice, the Bruins are going right at him. They're going around him. They were drawing penalties. Then when Jones had the puck in the offensive zone, he's missing the net by fucking 4 feet. It's like,
is the ice at Madison Square Garden, is it typically a good sheet or no?
I don't think so. I think a lot of people complain that it's hot in there.
The puck was hopping over both teams all over the ice tonight, over their sticks, missing like, you know what I mean? Just stuff you normally don't see in an NHL game. And it was one of my things I wrote down.
Yeah, I mean, the Bruins are fucking buzzing right now, dude.
I will say this. I don't think there was a single icing that entire game.
No, and here's the thing. Like, the Rangers
have you ever watched an NHL game without an icing?
No.
I don't think I ever have.
And the Rangers, what they lose? They lost 5-2. But it was one of those things where it didn't really feel like a 5-2 game. But at the same time, it's like, hey, you need to play your best when you're playing the best. Like, every time you play a team that should make the playoffs, you should amp it up a little bit more just to be like, fuck you guys going into it. Yep. And I would have liked to have seen the Rangers win there. But again, Bruins are buzzing.
Does Igor, they said this during the game, does he really have, up until tonight, did he have a point in 8 straight games?
Yeah, he hasn't lost in regular season until today.
Huh, okay.
Or in regulation, sorry.
Yeah.
But if you guys are still tuning in, that was Rangers and Bruins talk.
Well, one other thing I wanted to mention, this is the thing that drives me crazy about these national broadcasters. They do a good job, right? But they don't know the teams like the home guys do. And there was stuff that I noticed about both teams, and I don't watch the Rangers that often, but the Rangers were trying different things on their second power play, and neither guy commented on it. Right. And the Bruins were moving guys, like they moved Pastrnak from the left to the point to the right. They were moving him all over. Bergeron was in the bumper. He's out to the side. They mixed up the lines on the Bruins. They put Pastrnak back with Bergeron and Marchand, and they just don't, they don't notice that stuff, or they don't watch enough. And it's great for the exposure, and I get that, but just let Jack and Britt call it, or let your guy call it. You know what I mean? You should be able to pick your feed and have these guys just do every game.
You know what would be fucking cool is if it was nationally televised, but instead of it, they should just have the home announcer do the nationally televised game. So like those guys get a little shine too.
Yeah.
Back when the Rangers won the Cup in '94, Sam and JD called Game 7.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure. So like
the Bruins, they cut the local guys
and this
off.
one will last a lifetime. That was stupid. Yeah, they did like. what do you get the first round now? And then you're you're given.
You can always sync up your TV to the radio though and get your local guys.
Yeah.
You can do that. But who has a fucking radio?
Radios were cool, dude.
Yeah, but who has one now? Hey, speaking of that, I had this in the mea culpas, but this is just something I was talking to somebody while we were working on the job today. What's your favorite sports moment?
Like that I did?
No, as a fan.
Whew. Do I have to be alive to experience it?
Yeah. How else would it be your favorite sports moment?
I mean, 1980 Miracle's pretty fucking cool.
Oh,
like,
but you weren't
know what I
alive.
mean? But like that I got to experience and shit. This is gonna sound so stupid. I mean, dude, I didn't really watch in '94. I was fucking 4 years old. It wasn't like
Yeah. No, that's why I'm asking you.
I was a Yankee fan, so I liked when the Yankees won the World Series. But honestly, probably my favorite moment. Oh, damn, this is gonna be hard. I have two. The Derek Stepan goal in overtime against the Capitals was fucking sick. I'll never forget that. I have three. That one is the game that Marty St. Louis scored on Mother's Day in the playoffs. That was fucking really cool. And then probably I got to go to Zuccarello's return. So that was fucking
that's
sick.
nice.
And dude, Henrik Lundqvist's jersey retirement had me feeling all sorts of fucking ways, dude. I was bawling my eyes out. So I would say that like those would be mine. I mean, yours is the Cup.
The Cup's number one for sure. I watched because once they started coming back, I was watching every game by myself with my dog, my old dog, and we would get a pizza and we'd sit on the couch and we'd watch the game. And I literally the final game, I sat there on my couch upstairs, like sloppy, sad, happy tears.
Yeah.
And then the first Red Sox World Series in 2004, when I still cared about baseball. That was a big deal. I don't know. We were talking about this today, and I got to think, like, if I think back, I mean, like, I was at the Snow Bowl, but it was a bad memory because I'm a Raiders fan, you know, and Tom Brady cheated, one of the many times he did. But you know what was for me? It was the World Cup game with the women's soccer. That was awesome. I still remember that.
The one where she ripped the shirt off.
The penalty shots.
That's back when I liked the women's soccer team. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, that was a cool moment. Like I feel like the whole country was kind of united behind it.
It really was. If you really think about it, yeah.
So there you go. There's Bruins and Rangers bonus and 3 stars bonus inadvertently.
Yeah, bada bing, bada
there you
boom.
go. That's what we do.
Let's talk Movember, huh? So we're raising money right now. We're all growing out mustaches. And all the money goes to support men's health, whether it's health, mental health, whatever it is. We've posted this for 2 days, and I think we're above $800 or something like that. We're trying to raise
$1,000.
We're trying to raise $5,000. Listen, guys, if you have like a cup of coffee tomorrow and you don't really need it, don't buy it and just donate that money towards it.
I understand your approach, but I take it this way. $20 is not going to make a difference in your life over the next month. No one. It's not going to take a difference in anyone's life. $20.
I just feel like I feel bad asking for that much.
I don't, because $20 is nothing. Honestly, I was going to say I wipe my ass with a $20 bill, but I don't know if I would do it with a 20, maybe a 5. But a $20 bill is nothing to everyone listening to this podcast. You have 20 extra dollars. Throw $20 in. Help us get to $5,000. It'd be awesome. You can write it off on your taxes. There's a charitable donation.
It'd be really cool. Brownie's asked for 20. I'm asking for anything. So check out our social profiles. They're all over there.
Yeah.
That's what we got on that. So do we want to kind of just hop in, get her going?
Yeah, fire up, buddy.
Mea culpas.
Hi, this is Mea Culpa, and I'm here to introduce the Morning Skates Mea Culpas with Ked and Brownie.
All right. So more rumors about teams that are not the Northeastern Huskies being added to the Winter Classic sheet. They've added Quinnipiac, which makes sense. They're undefeated 9-0-0 and ranked 9th in the country. But Harvard, who's won 3-0, and they've already played each other this season. Like Quinnipiac and Northeastern are on the schedule together, and they're both top women's teams. How about put them at Fenway? I mean, let's grow the game, right? The newspaper in Toronto is the Toronto Sun, not the Toronto Star.
Yeah. Steve Simmons.
Yeah. Mike Van Ryn, right? He was with the Leafs when Lucic put him through the glass. On the Katie Knoll video that we talked about, that was Skylar, the mayor of Kingston, Irving, talking. TikTok arm boxing. Ked made me join TikTok for an upcoming interview, and somehow my algorithm got me to this sport called arm boxing, and I had a note here that I hadn't changed, even though we talked about offline. If you're bored on TikTok, type in arm boxing, because I would say it's entertaining.
Okay.
No, you don't think it's entertaining?
It's intense. Yeah. I would never do it.
Yeah, neither. Oh, it depends on who. There are some people I would. So yeah, look that up. And then my question for you, because this is like turning into a thing, social media. What's a Substack?
I don't have a clue.
Oh, people are like, subscribe to my Substack. I see it all over the place now.
Oh, let me look it up. I have no idea. Watch it be like a porn website.
Oh, that'd be bad. Oh yeah, I did see something for those people that that need glasses. Be careful, because this week you turn your clocks back, and there's a joke there with the L.
So that's what we have for Mea Culpas.
Oh, hey, don't forget to shout out the guy.
What are you talking about?
At the top there, the UK guy, remember?
Oh yeah. I mean, we have people fucking hitting us up and just talking to us online, telling us that we're doing a good job, all this shit. So shout out to that guy who reached out to us on Instagram. That was a fucking cool moment.
He was from England, right?
We're international, baby.
Yeah, that's it.
So
that's it.
All right, cool stuff. NHL in the news. Let's go. All right, Vancouver. After starting the year winless and having president of hockey operations Jim Rutherford blast the organization in an interview, Canucks have won a couple games. They pulled off a few trades. First with Boston, the Bruins sent Jack Studnicka to Vancouver in exchange for Mike DiPietro and Jonathan Reinberg.
I think.
Reinberg. Studnicka had one game played with the Boston this year prior to the trade. Then they sent a 5th-round pick in 2023 for Ethan Bear and Lane Peterson. Bear has been a healthy scratch for the season, and Peterson's been playing in AHL Chicago. It's a nice touch by Vancouver to put out the Bear signing in both English and Cree. And then Bruce Boudreau, he also notched a 600th career win in the NHL. After they beat the Kraken the other night, he's one of 6 active NHL coaches to achieve the feat and the second fastest to do it behind Scotty Bowman. Ked, take a shot. Notched a 600th career win in the NHL. Active NHL coaches that have 600 wins. Damn. Yep. Mike Sullivan?
No.
What?
He doesn't have 600.
No shit. Gallant doesn't.
No, Gallant's like 300.
Hines doesn't. So it has to be a guy who's been fucking around for a while, right? You'd think. Barry Trotz isn't a coach anymore.
That's right. Barry Trotz does have it, but he's not coaching currently.
This is kind of fucking. Bruce Cassidy doesn't have 600, right?
No. One of the guys you love.
Oh, Torts.
Torts is one.
Torts. Damn, there's fucking how many other teams are there?
There's 4 more active coaches.
Lindy Ruff?
Yep.
Laviolette?
Yep.
Now I'm
2 more.
I need 2 more. Shit.
One I know you don't like, and one I know you love.
One I don't like. Claude Julien's not coaching anymore. I can't believe Sullivan doesn't have it. Islanders. I don't know. Lane, it's not that guy.
Young guy, yeah, no.
Florida, I don't even know who their coach is, I don't think. Tampa, Cooper doesn't have 600.
Mm-mm.
All right, let's just hear it. Who?
Paul Maurice. You don't like him, right?
He's not. Is he an active coach? Is he coaching Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep, I like Paul Maurice.
Oh, I thought you didn't like Paul Maurice.
No, he sticks up for his players. I like Paul Maurice a lot.
And your boy, Daryl.
Oh, dude,
Daryl Sutter.
Fuck me.
There you go.
Yeah, so Vancouver, they're kind of buzzing. Speaking of buzzing, the Devils are definitely buzzing right now. But they placed Andre Palat on the IR, lower body injury. The IR is retroactive to October 24th. Palat is said to meet with team doctors early this week, determine the severity of the injury and the best plan of action moving forward. I thought I saw today that he has to have surgery.
Yeah. I think this is from a few days ago.
Okay.
The sheet.
I mean, that's definitely a tough loss. You go out and you finally get some veterans.
I know. And they're playing really well, too.
And then last week, they honored Mr. Devil Ken Danico prior to killing the Blue Jackets 7-1. He spent 40 years with the team as a player and announcer. Team gave him his silver stick for his 1,000th game. Started on October 30th, 1999, and dropped the
No, that's when he had the 1,000th game.
Fair enough. And he dropped the ceremonial puck. Then his son Shane surprised him by singing the national anthem. I was never a Danico guy, and then I heard Danico on his Chiclets, and now I can tolerate him. My dad hated him.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I didn't listen to the Kessler interview. Same thing.
Ottawa, the rumor mill is in high speed as Ryan Reynolds of everybody is now linked very lightly to heading up an investor group to buy the Senators. He publicly thinks this Ottawa should have a downtown rink and not leave Ottawa. Kind of a cool story. I don't know if that would ever
listen. Happen. Have you seen any of that Welcome to Wrexham with him and Rob McElhenney? How they bought a football team, a soccer team in Wales, and they're trying to get them up to the regulation they move up, and they sold it as like a behind the scenes documentary. It's really good. And
I'd be interested to watch that. Yeah,
it's on FX. I think you can find it. Welcome to Wrexham, it's called, and it's funny because they're in way over the heads. They don't know what they're doing, and they're super passionate though. And I was reading something today, and they were saying how Senator fans would complain because they like to hate the owner, and Ryan Reynolds is so lovable that no one could really get mad at him. Yeah. But bonus, you get Blake Lively hanging around the rink. So
good bonus.
Yeah.
I just mentioned Barry Trotz, but he was on the Cam and Strick podcast, and he hinted that he'd be interested in an Original Six coaching gig. Said that he could have had his own beer in Winnipeg, but wasn't the right fit. So a lot of people are talking about Toronto with Sheldon Keefe and everything that's going on there. You and I are going to get into our zeros in a little bit to kind of just –
Toronto's next on the sheet anyways.
Yeah, preface this. I mean, I'm not a Toronto guy. I think they need something different. Like, the same shit can't continually happen.
Yeah.
So they had a subpar road trip, 1-4 with losses to Vegas, San Jose, the Kings, and the Ducks. They came home, they beat Philly yesterday. In the game versus Anaheim, which was lost in overtime after the Leafs held a 2-goal lead in the third, Marner was benched for a shift. The Leafs were winning at the time of the benching. Marner went down the tunnel to smash a stick and throw a little hissy fit. During the timeout prior to the benching, you see Keefe gesturing at Marner while talking to the team. Both Anaheim goals at the point in the game came directly from Marner turnovers. After the game, Keefe said, when you have the game in control, you have to manage it better. Everybody has to be responsible for the touch of the puck. Both were well-intentioned and everything like that. It's just their tough plays. We got to manage those plays better, but we also have to better support around the puck. So if things go bad, we're in good spots. Marner handled the benching with grace, saying after the game he had no problem with it at all. Now you got to take accountability and you got to put it on yourself. So,
did you see what Dave Poulin said on TSN? That's why I put it in there.
No, what is that?
Poulin, who's a legend. I love Dave Poulin. He's one of my favorite all-time players. He said it was a joke. Flat out said it on TSN. He goes, you can't bench a guy for a shift. He goes, that's a joke. He goes, if he was a bottom six forward, would he be benched for a shift? And then he pointed out how Tortorella sat Hayes and Konechny for that whole period.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you have to do it. But that's so much word salad by Keefe. Like, oh, you got to be responsible, blah, blah, blah. But then during the timeout, he was pointing at him like, if you're going to blame him, which is fine, right? You're the coach, but whatever. It's just, they're a clown show.
I wonder if they would be as much of a clown show if the media wasn't just like all over them all the time.
That's fair. I don't know. To play devil's advocate, you could make the argument that Mitch Marner cares. And that's why he gets so wrapped up in his emotions with this, because he really, he does. You can make that argument. I mean, the kid's talent is undeniable.
Yeah, I don't like to go down the tunnel and smash your stick. You're not Paul O'Neill, bud. Take a seat.
Well, he should have just smashed it right there on the bench.
Yeah, so we mentioned the Ducks. Jamie Drysdale, he's injured with a torn labrum in his shoulder. It happened Friday against Vegas and expected to miss 4 to 6 months after surgery. That's pretty brutal. He's a hell of a defenseman, too. Hopefully he comes back soon, gets healed up nice. Josh Bailey, 1,000th game last Friday, scored the game winner in a 6-2 win over Carolina. The Islanders also set an NHL record by not allowing a power play goal in their first 8 games, so the kill is buzzing. Yep. There's nothing better playing like hockey and being on the penalty kill and just shutting down the power play and just talking so much shit to them. Oh, that was my favorite.
When I was playing for that higher up team where I was in over my head, the one thing I contributed was the PK, being one of the forwards on the PK. I'm like, I'll go. They'd be like, go Brownie.
There was one kid on one team that I played on that everybody just kind of like picked on, I guess. And he was on the power play and he was in front. And during practice, man, this kid would get fucking abused. Like, I'd be standing there, like, turn around, fucking active stick, look over, and he's just eating cross checks. And it's like, damn, dude. I mean, I guess he's earning it. Couldn't be
Yeah.
me. Detroit, Michael Rasmussen was suspended 2 games after high sticking incident. David Krejci during the 5-1 victory earlier this week. He's day-to-day. I was going to ask what was wrong with Krejci. There's my answer.
There you go. I think it's a concussion.
Okay, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Connor McDavid, 11-11, 22 points in his first 10 games. That's a pace of 180 points for 82 games played.
I know he got 1 goal tonight before we started recording, I saw.
The fucking next level, dude.
Him and Draisaitl are 1 and 2 in points already.
If they can just stay healthy, whew. Devin Dubnyk called it a career. He's drafted 14th to Edmonton in 2004. He played 542 games, 253 wins. Edmonton, Nashville, Arizona, Minnesota, San Jose, and Colorado. Career .914 save percentage. Didn't play on 1 Eastern Conference team. That's pretty crazy.
I didn't even realize that. I think of him as I know he played a long time in Edmonton, but I think of him as a Minnesota player.
I do too. I think of him at the Wild.
Yeah.
Ty, Delandria was fined $2,330.33. The max allowable under the CBA for goaltender interference on Igor Shesterkin when the Rangers beat Dallas 6-3 on Saturday. So this happened, and then Kreider blew him up in the middle of the ice, clean hit, and then at the end of the game, as time was winding down, Barclay Goodrow came over to him and just fucking put him on his ass after the play. So it was one of those things, and nobody did anything about it. So I feel like the vets kind of knew, hey, that one. James Van Riemsdyk underwent surgery on his broken finger that was injured in a loss to San Jose, likely missed a month. Sean Couturier had back revision surgery last Thursday, and his expected recovery is 3 to 4 months.
I don't know what that is, but that sounds horrible.
Sounds awful.
It sounds like they got to fix something that was fucked. Like they messed it up when they tried to fix it the first time.
I can't believe he's going to come back from that. I
don't know. At some point, you got to think about your kids and the rest of your life.
Yeah, man. He's had a pretty good career. I'm pretty sure he made enough money where he could probably just fucking call it. Jordan Stahl joined his older brother Eric as a second Stahl to play 1,100 games.
It's pretty cool.
Whoop-de-doo, Stahl.
Listen, I remember when Jordan Stahl was a rookie that they made at one of the first Winter Classics. They made him run the stairs at the Steelers.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It's nice to see his whole career. I always liked Jordan and Eric. I'm not a big fan of Mark.
Oh, me neither. Washington during a game versus Carolina, Evgeny Kuznetsov. This penalty shot he went in, it must have took him 20 minutes.
He's done this multiple times. It's not a new thing.
Yeah, and I guess hockey experts want fucking rule changes. Fuck that, dude.
The writers and all the blue check marks want a rule change, and they want how are you supposed to get to time it now? It's ridiculous. Yeah. I just figured you'd like that story because everybody's crying over it.
Yeah, everybody cries. It's the hockey world. Seattle, Shane Wright, he had last played on 10-23 in a loss to Chicago where he logged the 5:51 time on ice was a +1. The previous game, a win versus Colorado on 10-21. He registered his season high in minutes with a brisk 8:42 in the W. On a recent 32 Thoughts, they mentioned that Ron Francis wants Wright played more, but head coach Dave Haxtell clearly has other thoughts. They played Minnesota tonight. Wright sat the last 4 Seattle games. They sat him like his grandparents went to the game.
Listen, that grandparents thing, I don't agree with it. You're not going to play him just because his grandparents are there. I know it would have been a nice thing. He is playing tonight. I saw that he's in, and they're beating the Wild. They were up 4-0 last I looked. But it's his development. It's all about his development. Yeah. And 32 Thoughts really broke it down because they follow the OHL and everything. And there's a lot of different maneuvering they can do. But for him to go back to the OHL team he is on, it wouldn't help him because they're just going to walk people. He needs to be in a competitive situation, was their point. It's interesting, though.
They're going to ruin that poor fucking kid.
Yeah.
Arizona, count at least one fan among the visiting teams after Winnipeg opened up the rink with a win. Pierre-Luc Dubois said the ice was the best in the NHL. I think Reeves also mentioned that the ice was very, very good when the Rangers played them. The team also put fake mullets on every seat, and supposedly the atmosphere was good. They let Shane and Josh Doan, he plays for Arizona State, drop the first puck at the Mull Arena for the Coyotes.
Nice touch.
Yeah, I think so.
Listen, if you got Pierre-Luc Dubois to say anything positive, I feel like that's a win.
He is a cranky guy.
He is very cranky.
San Jose Sharks. Erik Karlsson recorded his first career hat trick in a loss to Anaheim on Tuesday. He now joins Nicholas Lidstrom, Zdeno Chara, Ed Jovanovski, and Lumir Wisnowski as a fifth defenseman age 32 or older to score a hat trick. He now has 9, 6, 15, and 12 games played this season. So
The
Carlson,
revitalization of Erik Karlsson.
he was so fucking good, dude. It would be really cool if he becomes like what he was before, because like I loved him. He was fucking nasty.
Offensively, yes.
He was great.
Offensively.
And then Buffalo, happy Halloween, Tage Thompson. Center hit a career high in points in a game 6 and notched the second hat trick of his career as the Sabres dispatched the Red Wings 8-3. The most points in a game on Sabres history is 7 by Gilbert Perreault. He did that in 1973 versus the California Seals. Thompson is now tied with Dave Andreychuk, Andre Savard, Jim Lorentz, Pat LaFontaine. He did it 3 times, and Perreault did it 3 times in second place. So pretty cool stuff. And also for Buffalo, yeah, dude. All right, so they played the Penguins in the reverse retro jersey night.
The white on white.
I thought the Penguins jerseys look so much cooler than the actual Penguins jerseys. Like, those should be their jerseys.
Oh, you mean you like the reverse retro better than normal?
Big time. And then Buffalo, Cody at World Hockey Report, he said it best. Like, white pants are fucking awful. Like, they're so bad.
I saw Cody's thing, and in the pictures, I was like, oh, I don't like that. But then when I saw them out on the ice, I'm like,
white pants.
I think if they had more color on the shirt, the white pants would have been all right.
I think white pants are atrocious.
Yeah,
so bad. I'm just not a fan.
You wear red pants though, don't you?
Rangers wear red pants.
Oh, fair.
Hurricanes wear red pants. Red Wings wear red pants. Blackhawks probably wear red. No, Blackhawks wear black pants.
Yeah,
I'd have to think about it. All right, dump and change, Brownie, take it away.
So I never saw this quote. Have you ever seen this quote?
Yeah.
Derek Jeter. Is it an old quote?
He said in the doc, I think that just came out.
Oh, fans boo because they want to cheer. I thought that was great. I had never heard that. So anyways, this college, did you see this? The college football brawl, Michigan State players.
Yeah.
Michigan players in the tunnel heading off the field after Michigan State lost 29-7. Some of these kids, what's that, Adam Sandler? That's assault, brother. Some of these kids were swinging helmets. I mean, that's not a good look for Michigan State.
Brother.
Jerry Lee Lewis. You know who Jerry Lee Lewis is?
I don't think I know Jerry Lee Lewis.
Rock and roll guy, Great Balls of Fire, the singer, piano guy.
Goodness gracious, Great Ball. That's a Top Gun song.
Yeah, but it's all
Goose plays it on the fucking piano, right?
It's for the movie. Yeah. But anyway, so this guy was a kind of like the anti-Elvis. Like Elvis was the good guy, but he was kind of dangerous. But Elvis was presented as this clean-cut, nice kid. Jerry Lee Lewis was from the wrong side of the tracks, played the piano. His nickname was Killer, which I've heard that he got the name because one of his wives was found dead in a swimming pool, and also because he was such a savage. He ended up marrying like his second cousin who was 13, and it kind of derailed his career. And he's the cousin of Jerry Falwell. Yeah, but there's a movie out with Dennis Quaid plays Jerry Lee Lewis, which is a pretty funny film. The legendary story though is him and Chuck Berry were doing a rock and roll show, and he was supposed to go on last, and Chuck Berry was the bigger name. So Chuck Berry was like, well, I go on last. So it was this whole big standoff. So Jerry Lee Lewis was like, well, fuck that. I'll go then. He goes out there wailing on the piano, lights it on fire while he's playing it, and then walks off the stage and looks right at Chuck Berry and goes, follow that, buddy, or something to that effect. Chirped up. Just all-time story.
So I have two stories that remind me of that. There was one, a Dave Chappelle story, where they told him that he was going to go first or some shit like that. So he did what he did. And then afterwards, he's like, hey, listen, guys, I'm going to go out to the parking lot if anybody wants to come out and have a smoke with me. And the entire place left.
Yeah, similar.
And then the only other one is Leonard Skinner opened for the Rolling Stones one time. And Mick Jagger told Skinner like, hey, do whatever you want, but don't play on the tongue, because the stage was like the Rolling Stones tongue.
Yeah.
And Van Zandt took his guitar guy right out there and goes, you fucking play right here. And he
that's great.
On it. So love a little shit like that happens.
What you get for big timing.
Yeah.
During the World Series game, when Harper and Bolam, is that how you say his name?
I couldn't tell you.
They hit home runs. The crowd was cheering so loudly that the Penn State University seismograph, which measures earthquakes, registered the noise and vibration. The city was literally shaking because of the stadium. That's nuts.
So Rex is a big Padres guy, so I understand why he's rooting for the Astros. I'm a Yankees guy. Like, dude, the Philadelphia Phillies fans are. I think they're kind of cool, dude. Like
I'm rooting for the Phillies for sure.
They are very, very, very into that baseball team, and and Philadelphia kind of has that whole like, oh, I'm a scumbag kind of feel, but like they take ownership to it.
Yep.
I think that's sick. Like, listen, man, I want the Rangers to win a cup, but can you imagine if the fucking Flyers won a cup? Like, what the fuck would happen there? Bring hockey back to Philly? It'd be sick.
Yeah, exactly. You and I talked about this offline. So this NASCAR guy, Ross Chastain,
was
with the move of all moves at the Xfinity 600 at Martinsville Speedway. So clearly, Ked and I are not NASCAR guys.
I'm a NASCAR guy.
I mean, you don't know all the fucking rules and everything like that.
What do you mean? Well, dude, I used to know all the rules, and then they fucking did the stages and shit. So now I don't.
He needs to win a certain amount of points to get in the playoffs. You don't know all those ins and outs.
Right.
And in order to get this finishing slot, whatever it was, to get in the playoffs, he decided to skip the break and just run his car into the wall.
He needed like 3 spots. Like that's how he did it.
And he ran his car into the wall to slingshot around these people on the outside, and it actually worked.
Yeah, so what Brownie's saying is, like, you know, when you slow down and you go into a corner, this dude just went to the wall and rubbed the wall and fucking floored it.
And hammered it, yeah.
So everybody's slowing down on the inside, and this guy comes fucking cruising on the outside, just hammering the wall.
It was like basically he banked his car off the...
It was insane. Like, and it's funny because they showed all the inside
the view from the driver's side,
and shit, and like they showed the radios of like the other drivers, and everybody's like, "What the fuck was that? What the hell's going on?" And the
announcers even said it was a video game move.
It was unbelievable. Dude, that NASCAR's back.
And then after the race, they asked him, they like, "Oh, everybody said it was a video game movie." He goes, "Well, I played a lot of NASCAR 2005 on the GameCube, and it worked there, so I thought I'd try it."
It was incredible.
Pretty good.
I think the first time I saw it, Pat McAfee tweeted it out, and he goes, "Is this a real video?" And I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, somebody just doctored something up or whatever."
And it looked like he killed his car because he ended up coasting.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So, all right. So this one is wild. Martin Luther King Jr. and Julia Roberts have a connection.
Okay.
So Martin Luther King Jr. and his wife Coretta Scott King paid the hospital bill for when Julia Roberts was born.
Why?
So Julia Roberts' parents were drama teachers, didn't have a lot of money. And wherever they were living, I want to say it must be somewhere. It was obviously somewhere where Martin Luther King was. Wherever they were living, Martin Luther King and his wife wanted their kids to take, like, it sounds like it was like drama camp over at Julia Roberts' parents' house. Mm-hmm. And the Kings were like, "Can we bring our kids here?" It was probably in Memphis. And Julia Roberts' parents were like, "Absolutely, you can bring them." And at the time, it was very segregated. It wasn't, it wasn't mixed. So it was like a big deal that they did this. So they didn't have much money because they were running a fucking drama camp. And when Julia Roberts was born, they were having trouble making ends meet on the hospital bill. And Martin Luther King Jr. and his wife stepped in and paid the bill.
How is this not like more well known?
I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
crazy story. Wild. But that's the kind of thing, like we talk about, like the butterfly effect and all that stuff. By them doing this nice thing, you pay it forward, like the Bo Bennett stuff. You pay it forward and, look what happens. So, did you see this? Jared Allen, you know who he is?
Yeah.
So Jared Allen was honored at halftime of the Minnesota-Arizona game this past Sunday with his induction into the Ring of Honor at US Bank Stadium. In an all-time move, he came out for the ceremony on horseback and wheeled around the stadium. When he retired from the league back in 2006, it was also in horseback when he said, "Cowboys don't say goodbye, they just ride off into the sunset." And it was a great video. I remember it at the time. All-time move, and he still rocks a mullet, and he was, of course, number 69.
Dude, he has like sick hunting videos where he like goes out and just shoots animals.
Yeah,
like,
he's like Brent Burns. He has a huge compound.
Yeah.
All right, so the last story: Shanghai Disneyland shut the doors on thousands of guests due to a COVID spike. China has a zero-tolerance policy going on where if they have to, they'll shut the door and you're locked in wherever you are for 10 days. Well, they had an outbreak at the Shanghai Disneyland and people are locked in, but at least they're keeping the rides and concessions going. So they're locked into Disneyland for 10 days. So there you have it, buddy. That was Dump and Change.
Dump and change. We went over Rangers Bruins. I just have a couple other things Rangers wise that I kind of want to bring out. So they beat the Stars 6-3, Coyotes 3-2. They beat the Flyers 1-0. They just lost to the Bees. One thing that was kind of interesting, they interviewed Gerard Gallant, and he was talking about Capo Caco and how another coach, he didn't name the coach, came up to him and was like, hey, that kid's really turning into a player, which I thought was pretty cool. If another coach is going up to that coach and being like, hey, I really like what this kid's doing. Like,
was that Coach Dave Quinn?
I mean, it might have been. Never mind. I think all that. Ride Igor. Igor's played the last 4 games. Tonight he did not play that well. So hopefully he bounces back. I'm out on Jimmy Vesey, dude. So I used to hate Jimmy Vesey, and then before preseason, remember, I was so excited. I'm like, hey, listen, like he's changed.
He figured it out.
So the other night against the Flyers, behind the net, there's this big scrum. Everybody's out there. Kevin Hayes is out there. Jimmy Vesey and Kevin Hayes kind of lock up. They're pushing back and forth. Hayes is kind of involved with Fox. VC just like lets go of Hayes and just kind of stands there and lets Hayes just have liberties with Adam Fox, who's our best fucking player on the Rangers. VC, I know you're friends with Hayes, dude, but when the fucking puck drops, like if anybody touches Adam Fox, your role is to make sure that doesn't happen. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I couldn't believe it. And then tonight he fucking bounced off Pasternak. He ended up redeeming himself, but fucking out on Jimmy VC. And then I think I mentioned this before, Lindgren being out. I thought Zach Jones was super exposed tonight. The Rangers need an NHL caliber 6 defenseman, somebody who's going to eat shots, make simple plays, and get the fucking puck out of the zone. Because, I mean, Zach Jones might have all the talent in the world, but he's not somebody I'm going to roll out there consistently and feel good about it.
Well, fair.
So that's what I got.
All right, well, the Bruins, 10 wins in their first 11 games to open the season. It's the first time in franchise history, and they're doing this without McAvoy. Now they don't have Krejci the last few games, and now Forbert's out. So it's unbelievable. Swayman, after that awful-looking injury in the game against Pittsburgh, he was seen walking around the game with ice on his knee but no crutches. He's week to week with a lower body injury. So hopefully it was just like an MCL or something like that. But it looked like his knee hyperextended, which is horrible. Forbert, I think I mentioned that before, is out 4 to 6 with the surgery on his broken finger. I'm going to skip that. The Ullmark. So I think Linus Ullmark had some issues coming to Boston with the expectations on being a number 1. And I feel like there was a lot of trepidation because they weren't sure what Tuukka was doing last year. They had Swayman. So there was a lot of unevenness for him. I think he came in, he's happy, his family's here, they're all settled in. I think he's showing what he can be. I think he's playing phenomenal. He's out on top of the crease. He's challenging shooters. He had that one with Fox. I thought the play was offsides, and it looked like everybody stopped for a second. Maybe that looked like that to him, but that one goal, I thought he played very, very well.
Well, is he playing well, or are the Bruins just playing really well in front of him?
I think it's a combo, to be honest with you. I mean, that Pittsburgh game, he looked bad. He got lit up, and it happens. And I think there was only 1, maybe 2 that I would blame on him. But there's so many good vibes with this team right now, and that comeback against Pittsburgh was it's an all-timer. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to say what it reminds me of, but I got some good voodoo going on over there. And Marchand, 2 goals, 2 games played. He has 4 points, averaging over 18 minutes on the ice. And he said yesterday, the day before, that this is the first time in 6 years he hasn't had pain in his hips. So look out.
So that's 2 games played, 3 goals, assists for 4 points for Marchand. He's a hell of a player, man.
I don't think he was on the score sheet tonight. I don't think he was.
Yeah, but he was noticeable. He was more noticeable
than
Pryor was. So
yeah, him and Goudreau going at each other a little bit. Him and Trocheck. Yep.
All right, cool, dude.
Bruins are in a good spot.
Beer league roundup. We lost in a shootout, dude. It was a battle. The whole game, I feel like we were just down the whole fucking game. I ended up with 2. Tied it up with like a minute 30 left, which was pretty fucking cool. I had a nice little between the legs fucking backhander, not a big deal. It was fun, dude. It was a good time. Sucked losing in a shootout. Dude, listen to this. So 30 seconds left in the game. There's not a penalty called the entire game. I scored with I don't know, probably 50 seconds left in the game to tie it up. 30 seconds left. The kid makes a move and he runs into one of our better players. Kid falls down. The ref calls a penalty. The only penalty the whole fucking game. And I'm like, dude, there's 30 seconds left in this game. Are you fucking kidding me? What are you doing? Game ends. We go to a shootout. The ref says that the guy who took
overtime.
No. Guy says who took the penalty can't shoot because he took the penalty. And he was one of our better players. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? What is going on? So we ended up losing in a shootout. I could have tied it up, and I went in and the goalie was in the corner, but the puck fucking hopped over my stick and it kind of went away. And I went to take 2 strides over to grab it, and the fucking ref blew it down. He's like, no, it was too far away or something like that. I'm like, you motherfucker. I am so
you're out of your lane. Yeah.
But it was fun. We got a point. Play again this week. Shout out to Eric Greenway. He is the only, there's places to get fucking your skate sharpened. This guy's been sharpening my skates and shit for years. Last time my skates were sharpened, he did it, and this was 2 years ago. I haven't sharpened my skates in forever. So I had to get them sharpened. I had to get them re-riveted and all that stuff. So I hit him up, dropped them off at his place. He's going to get that ready for this Sunday. So shout out to him. Yeah, that's pretty much what I got, I think, for Beer League. What do you got?
So we had a game Sunday night. I was up in Vermont with the family. We're all fighting this flu. I apologize for the coughing and sniffling while I'm talking. We drive home. I'm like, all right, well, guys, it's going to depend if I make it, depending on what time I get home. I'm looking at the app, and I see there's only, if I don't go, there's 9 skaters. I'm like, motherfucker. So I'm like, all right, I'll go. Suck it up. I get up there. I drive all the way to the rink. I go in. It's an hour from the house. I walk in the rink, and I'm like, who are all these fucking people on the ice? And I'm looking, and I recognize a few guys, and I'm like, what the what? I walk outside, get in the car. I call one of the guys. I'm like, hey, Bill, where's the game? He's like, Waltham. I'm like, motherfuck. I drove to the wrong rink. I drove an hour out of my way round trip.
Oh.
I still made it on time because I was falling asleep on the couch. So I left really early because I was dozing off. So then when I get there and we get fucking pumped. I don't remember what the score was, but it was 8-4 maybe. It was horrible. Yeah. I was like, good Lord. But plus side is we have another game next week, and I now got invited to a pickup skate that's always 2 goalies, and they make teams. So picked up a second skate with some of the guys that I grew up with that are a few years older than me. So that'd be pretty good.
Perfect. Love that.
Yeah, and it's pickup, so I don't have any commitment. Oh, and then this I wanted to mention. Northeastern, the goalie, Gwyneth Phillips, she was named Hockey East Goaltender of the Month, and Abby Marone is the Hockey East Defender of the Month. So a couple of Huskies winning some in-season awards. Always nice to see.
They're not at Fenway.
No, they're not at Fenway. Not until I keep going on my Reddit thread.
You think they're getting all these awards, they're winning all these games. You think you'd want to fucking show it off.
Well, it's a no-brainer to play Quinnipiac versus Northeastern. They don't play, and they're both very good teams. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a travesty. All right,
so
Doc.
Once you're done making your donation to Movember, maybe reach out to the Fenway group and say you want to see the Northeastern women play at Fenway. There you go.
All right, there you go. Dom Morris, Heroes and Zeros.
Hey fans, this is Dominic Moore. I'm just going to take you guys through a little bit of the behind-the-scenes stuff here.
All right, hero and zero time. I'll go first. My hero of the week, Daryl Sutter. This fucking thing. They asked him. So Huberto left the bench the other game. During the first period, and you're like, yeah, what ended up happening to that? And he goes, I think he had to take a shit.
Fucking great.
And that was it. That's all he said. He is who he is, man. Him and Torch are so genuinely who they are. It's refreshing to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't put on airs, that's for sure.
Think he had to take a shit. Put that on a t-shirt.
Probably sell. Make it red and gold.
Yeah.
Probably would sell. All right, so my hero is the Good Vibe Bruins. So Marchand the other day, it was Foligno's birthday, gave him a pie in the face at practice, the shaving cream pie. Foligno, all the young guys call him Uncle Nick. He's now filling in for Swayman on the hug, the goalie hug.
I fucking hate that hug.
So listen, so they were talking on 32 Thoughts. I actually emailed 32 Thoughts. I've never emailed a podcast ever. I emailed them because they were saying, what are good nicknames for goalie tandems?
Yeah.
Ready for this?
Oh, boy.
The Huggy Bears. Pretty good. If it catches on, remember you heard it here first.
I fucking hate the hug.
The
But okay.
Huggy Bears. We can make a shirt of that for the morning skate, the Huggy Bears.
Good.
So anyways, so this is my real hero, Jacob Lacko. He scored his first NHL goal against Pittsburgh the other night. He had scored one earlier, but it got waived off under review. So this was his first official one. Per Joe Haggerty, Lacko's first goal puck is going to the parents of his Czech friend Andre Bustela, I believe, that passed away from cancer a few years ago. Lacko said, "I made a promise to my dying friend 2 years ago to make it to the NHL. This puck is going to his mom." Just a great thing. And he actually said, he goes, "My parents are probably going to be a little upset, but I made a promise."
Good kid.
Yep. That's what you like to see. That's the kind of culture we like here in Boston, right there.
We have the same zero of the week.
This has never happened.
Dude.
We've never had the same zero. This was not planned.
Austin Matthews.
Yep. Fuck him.
So last night in the Leafs
marshmallow motherfucker.
Leafs Flyers game, him and Konechny are going at it. Konechny hit him pretty dirty. They got him with a slash. Matthews slashes back. I think Bunting immediately kind of comes over, and then
there was some more. They were going up ice. There was some back and forth.
Yeah, and then Giordano comes flying out of nowhere and tackles Konechny.
Talk about Uncle Nick. There's Uncle Gio at 4 years old.
Which was fucking cool. And then everybody gets into it.
Yeah, I like Gio. I always like Giordano.
Everybody gets into it. Up until that moment, I don't think I'm like that upset with Matthews. I'm like, okay, like at least you slashed him back. I would have appreciated you kind of get more into the scrum, whatever.
Slash and a cross check.
Yeah.
He did more. Yeah.
What pissed me off is everything got broken up, and then Matthews skated over Konechny and gave him a shove, and everybody just started fighting, and Matthews had nothing to do with it. I mean, dude, he's you listed out 6'3", 205. Konechny is 5'10", 174. Like, listen, man, Mike Rupp made a great point. He broke it down perfectly how, like, Matthews, somebody comes in, he has one hand on a stick, he doesn't look anybody in the eye, how, like, all these people are fighting for him, and he's just sitting there laughing, how, like, that's not going to cut in the room. We've seen this time and time again. I wrote a blog almost a year ago talking about, will Austin Matthews ever drop the gloves? And what's kind of funny is when something ever big happens in the hockey world, every once in a while people Google about it. And that blog got like 200 hits today. So like people looking at it, I'm like, what? I was like, what is this? And I read the blog. I'm like, who wrote that? I'm like, oh, it was me. Like, that's kind of fucking cool. I'll take it. I mean, he's supposed to be your leader. He's supposed to be your player. I understand he scores goals. I understand he can be a game breaker in terms of the offense, but fuck, how much cooler would he be if he like was a dick? You know what I mean? Like he's just a soy boy. And it fucking sucks to see. He's too busy fucking, and I'm going to get old man yelling at a cloud here and shit. But like, dude, lose the fucking earring and punch somebody in the face. Like,
I don't care about the earring.
Fucking hockey player, dude.
I don't care about the earring at all. Do whatever you want. But this guy is the face of USA hockey. Fuck off. Yeah. He is soft as puppy shit. Jesus Christ. He can have all the skill in the world as long as that fucking guy is on the Leafs and he's one of their leaders. They ain't doing dick. Yeah. I'll tell you that right now. If I was Brendan Shanahan and I saw that display last night, I would go downstairs and be like, Bud, I know it's not your game. You do that shit again, I'm having you out of here the first fucking trade I can make. He would not play for my team. Fuck him. I wouldn't want him on the Bruins. I'll take Marner over him all day.
It was fucking, I don't know. I didn't like seeing it. I don't think I'm as mad about it as you are. I'm like disappointed. I just wish like the best.
Oh, you're not mad. You're just disappointed. Is that what you just said?
I'm just really disappointed, dude. Like I wish he could go down as one of the best American hockey players of all time. And he's going to be remembered as being softer than baby shit. And that kind of sucks. Like, I wish he was just like, I don't know, man. And that blogger wrote about like how David Backus when he fought like Perry, Taves, and Matt
over America tour,
and he's fucking Captain America. And then you have this fucking kid just laughing, starting fucking scrums, not ever having to back it up. Like, I wish Tony DeAngelo on the ice. It would have been fucking hilarious if Tony went over and just started fucking punching him in the mouth.
I wish Becky just had started punching him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, give me either Kachuk. I'm thinking of American-born players. Give me Johnny Gaudreau. Give me Kevin Hayes. Give me Patrick Kane. Give me any of these guys over here.
Shut up, Kevin.
I don't want,
dude. Okay, Brownie. All right.
Matthews wouldn't be in my top 40 that I'd want on my team.
Okay. All right, bud.
I'm telling you.
All right. Let's
I'll
do
take
it.
Trent Frederick all day over this.
Oh,
fucking
here
guy.
we go. Yeah. Listen, man. You
AJ
saying this
Greer.
shit is almost
he's
as
not
egregious as me saying that Pasternak should be suspended for that Lindgren hit. I think it's like right around the same. All right, 3 stars.
All right, Jim and Mike, thanks very kindly. A nice weekend for you. As always, our 3-star selectors are stars of the hockey scene wherever we go on Rogers Hometown Hockey.
Brownie, take it away, bud.
So we decided to do the 3 stars based off of that dump and change story about being locked into Shanghai Disneyland, which sounds terrifying. The best and worst places you'd want to be locked in if you got shut in for 10 days. Food and water is not an issue. No matter what you pick, there's going to be food and water, so you don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't say your house was our parameters.
Okay.
So I think we should do the worst ones first.
Okay.
You want to go?
Yeah, dude, I'm ready to go for this. Damn, let me fucking figure out what one. Okay, my 3rd star is an elevator. Can you imagine being locked in a fucking elevator for 10 days with just random ass people and like somehow they're like feeding you and shit, but like they're throwing chips through the ceiling or whatever.
Dropping it through the hole.
And you're just sitting in there.
You ever see that Office one when the Dwight's like, we gotta establish a pee corner?
Yeah, like Dwight's peeing, dude. What if you're with some slob who just won't stop like farting
or talking?
Oh my god, can you imagine if you're just there with somebody and you just have like completely different beliefs in life and that person just really wants to tell you about it, how fucking awful that would be. So my 3rd star, an elevator. Plus, like, they're not big. I'm not saying you're gonna get claustrophobic, but maybe after 10 days, I feel like those walls get fucking in. Yeah. So
my number 3 is whatever that's called, Leaf Square, where they all watch the fucking game.
Yeah.
You know that area where they all so I'm in Leaf Square. Bruins are playing the Leafs, and we get locked there.
That would be
stuck there for 10 fucking days. Oh my god,
would be pretty fucking brutal.
Unless the Bruins won, my god, would I be a dick for 10 days? I'd probably get killed. I wouldn't make it out.
You probably would.
Yeah. Well, actually, not by Leafs fans.
Well,
and I'll just be like, ugh.
Well, you pick Leaf Square. For my 2nd star, I picked New Year's Eve. Times Square.
Have you ever done that?
No, and I never will.
I did it once. I was there once.
How brutal is that?
We were out of our minds, but it was brutal.
I don't like big crowds. My anxiety even fucking thinking about that. Like, you're standing in that little area shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of people who smell fucking brutal. And it's
well, they've been there all day, some of those people.
Yeah, and it's 10 o'clock and 10. Oh, dude, fuck that. Fuck that. That would be my number 2 star.
My number 2 star is the DMV.
Oh, good one.
Imagine being locked in with the fucking mutants from that place.
Miserable motherfuckers, dude.
And you know that the people behind the counter over 10 days, it would be like a whole us versus them. You know what I mean? They'd be so superior. Oh, yeah.
Fucking meltdown at the DMV one time. I had to get my picture taken for my license when I had turned a certain age where I don't know if I had turned 21 or something like that. I had to get a new picture for my license. So I got there. I fucking take the picture, go to pay, and they're like, it's cash only. I'm like, okay, so I got to fucking run to the ATM really quick. The place closed in like 15 minutes. And I'm in a mall. There's an ATM like maybe 5 minutes. Like, I'll be right back. They're like, no, you won't be back in time. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they wouldn't let me go take cash out. And I fucking lost it, Brownie. I ended up saying some really mean things to this lady. It was bad. My buddy was with me. He's like, Jimmy, we got to go now. So like we left there. That was a bad moment for me. So yeah, that's a good start, dude.
All right, thanks.
Try beating this one, dude.
Go ahead.
A parent on a fucking field trip.
Oh, not even your own kid.
Not even your own kid.
That's a good one.
Would that not be the fucking worst 10 days of your life? These little kids just walking around fucking sneezing and coughing on you. You're going to get sick as shit. They're just being loud, obnoxious. It's dirty as shit. And you have to hang out with like the parents who think fucking little Timmy's the best kid in the world. I would rather fucking,
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Beat that one.
All right. Well, my number 1 is either like a church or a temple or like whatever else, like for a religious ceremony, right? You're there for like a christening or a bar mitzvah or Diwali or whatever it is. So you dress in a fucking suit, You're uncomfortable, and then you're trapped in that area for 10 days
where
so
you feel like
can't
you have to be the best human ever.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty brutal. Like no bad thoughts can come in your head at
well, you
all.
can have bad thoughts, but you can't be like, oh my God, how much fucking sorry.
Yeah,
You know what I
so
mean?
like that's such a fucking good one, dude. And those like they're always musty and like hot, and it's just like sweaty, and it's like it's fucking disgusting. That's a really good one. I feel bad for like if there's any super religious people listening to this.
Oh, I'm not trying to
like
be insulting to your.
No,
I'm not
me neither.
religious, so when I go there, it has
100%.
a whole thing on it.
I agree with you. I think you and I are on the same page, but I think it's also okay to recognize that there are people that would probably
be thrilled with it. Yeah,
that would put it on the best. But for you and me, I can agree with that. And
we
I
also
think
apologize to any DMV workers that we've offended.
No, we don't, dude. They're all miserable. Like they are the fucking worst. I think we covered all bases there. I don't think anybody's gonna get mad at us. So I'm happy about that. All right. Your best 3 spots.
I'm now reconsidering my best because now I'm thinking about all the people and I'm nervous.
Okay, so
you want me to go? Want me to go first this time?
Oh yeah, go first.
So my number 3, I was thinking of places where it would be big, where I'd have options of things to do.
Yeah.
So I picked the Mall of America.
I don't think a mall's a bad choice, dude, because you're gonna have a food court. Plus, there's like cool shit to do in that mall. That
mall's got a roller coaster. It's massive.
Do you remember how cool malls were in like the 90s?
Yeah, well,
I feel like that mall's still cool.
I'm thinking if I was there on like because when I have to go out and deal with the fucking commoners in the world, I try to do it during the week. Like you won't catch me at the grocery store on a fucking Saturday ever.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I own my own business. I'll disappear for 2 hours on a Tuesday. Yeah. So if I'm at this mall, it's most likely a weekday and it's quieter. So
well, you're spending 10 days there.
No. But no. When I'm there,
I see,
and the lock comes down.
So weekday mall. That even more specific. I respect that. I respect that. My 3rd star. I think this would be kind of fucking cool. Like, I don't even know what. Like a paintball facility, like you know, like people go and play paintball.
Yeah.
Like, how cool would it be if it locked down and for 10 days straight you went to fucking war, dude? Like, that's probably
I've never played paintball. I've always wanted to.
It's a good time. It would be so fucking cool. It would that's the closest to real wars I think I would ever get. And like, you have to like go to war for 10 days. You got food. You're hanging out with the boys. You're probably drinking beers. You're shooting people with paintballs. That could be fun. More than likely, you're with the boys, right? Like, I'm good with that.
That's a good one. My number 2 is similar to that, kind of, because I was thinking about specific places. I wasn't just thinking like So, I think it's in Memphis, the massive Bass Pro shop with the pyramid.
That would be fucking sick.
So that's got like restaurants, and I'm like, they have guns. I can go shoot shit. They have that giant fishing thing. I can go fishing and then just catch and release, in the tank. So, and you have your own hotel room upstairs. I can go upstairs, lock the door, and be by myself, even though I'm,
That's a good one. That
was my number 2.
Mine's similar.
Okay.
Campground. I think it'd be fucking really cool to go to a campground, go camping with 10 days. You bring all your friends, and then all of a sudden the campground shut down. You got the lake to yourself.
That's the beginning of a horror movie, but yeah.
Well, no, you have the lake to yourself. You got a dizzy bat. You got fucking the restrooms. You got the showers. You got the whole fucking 9 yards. And you're supplied food. You have fire and shit. Like, just being outside in the woods. Number 2, campground.
That's a good call. You're going to laugh at me because this was the first thing I thought of for my number 1 star.
Can I guess?
Sure.
The weed store.
No, that would have been a good one too.
Okay.
But this place will have weed. I have no doubt. My number 1 is Rihanna's house.
Rihanna's
If I'm going to get locked in somewhere for 10 days, I'm going to shoot my shot with Rihanna.
Oh, Rihanna. That's a good one.
And she'll have weed.
She will have.
She just had a kid, so I'm a parent. I can help. And over 10 days, she's going to get bored. So
she's going to get bored.
Sorry, my wife's listening.
I mean, we run a hockey podcast, so my number 1 star would be the rink with the boys. Like, that would be fucking sick. You just get to play hockey nonstop for 10 days in a row, fucking hang out, probably in the parking lot, drink beers, go in and out, eat your food, play hockey whenever you want. Some rinks have bars, so you have a bar right there. Most rinks have TVs, so you got TV there as well. And you're literally just chilling.
Did I ever tell you my very first Father's Day where I was?
Mm-mm.
So we were up in Toronto for a tournament, and the rink had like 6 sheets, and in the middle was a bar, and you could look out the window and see people playing. And we were up there for a tournament. We had a game Sunday morning. We got eliminated. It's like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. We're sitting there with a pitcher of beer, plate of wings, poutine. My buddy Chris Mack goes, "Hey, it's your first Father's Day. Happy Father's Day." We were all dads sitting at the table, and we're like, "Yeah, that's what Father's Day is, man. It's your day."
That's perfect.
So that was my first Father's Day.
It's a good Father's Day, dude.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, so that was this episode of the Morning Skate. A little bit shorter one. But I feel like we got through stuff. Yeah, I was happy about it. Brown, do you have anything else for the people at home listening?
No, just as always, tune in to Northeastern. They're playing this weekend. They have I forget who they're playing. That's horrible. But anyways, they have 2 games this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Providence College. That's who they're playing, I believe. I could be wrong. It's going to be bad. Anyways, and the Bruins play at Toronto. And I may have a fuck you Toronto blog coming out the next day or so because I'm so disgusted by that blue and white panty waste of a smooch team. But yeah, as always, God bless you, Jerome McGinley, because he played for the Bruins and never the Leafs, as one of many reasons.
Wait, do they? No, this can't be it.
Who?
This must be, I don't know. I'm trying to look up the Northeastern women's hockey schedule. Oh, that's basketball. That's why.
I got it right here. Hold on. They are playing.
Yeah, we want to make sure we get that right so people know what's going on, right?
They played Providence last week. I'm sorry. They're playing UNH.
UNH.
At UNH Friday night, hosting UNH Saturday. Oh, but this weekend I'll be at Cider Fest, so I won't be able to go to the game on Saturday.
I think the Rangers got the Red Wings on Sunday, so we got a little bit of hockey.
Is that a matinee game?
I think it's like 5:00.
Oh, that's a odd time. Oh, but that's nice though, right in between the football games.
And it's at MSG. It's nice, but it fucks with me in terms of like I'm gonna miss that because I'm gonna be playing hockey. Fucking gross. But all right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. We will talk to you soon.
And remember, Movember.
Donate money. Thank you.
Please.
See you later.